What won't come off? You don't understand. I keep trying with soap. What won't come off? The blood off my hands. And look, she's laughing. An IDF soldier admitting that I killed a boy. Now we just laugh about it. Israeli society turns people into sociopaths so they can execute children without empathy. You want to hear it?
She must do Sam Harris meditations.
She must. Breathe in. Yeah, Tim Dillon just did this.
I texted him the old story from when we had that Buddhist guy, because I think at that point you didn't know Buddhism was also violent like all the others. That's what Buddhism was for, so you could remain calm.
Oh, right. You remember that?
Yeah, right.
He would teach the IDF soldiers how to meditate and remain calm when they were shooting someone in the head.
Not waste ammo.
Don't waste ammo.
Yeah.
So let's hear what this IDF soldier, she looks nice. Let's hear what she says. I say I killed a boy. This is from an Israeli documentary film, To See If I'm Smiling. This is from 2007. This is on YouTube already. I don't even say the army. Only that. See, look at her smiling. This is weird. Do you think about it? Do you think about that you killed a boy?
That's a mask.
It's hard to think about it now.
Yeah.
At the time, I would think about it a lot. Now we just laugh about it. As much as one can. Now it's just there like a part of me. I killed a boy.
I don't think
she means
laughing.
a child.
I think that's somebody
That's
traumatized.
what she means, a child.
Look at that stare.
Hang on, Kurt, we have your mic low because of this. I would go home on leave, and I would call my girlfriend in the army. Sivan, it's not coming off. What won't come off? You don't understand. I keep trying with soap. What won't come off? The blood off my hands. And look, she's laughing. I have blood on my hands. I don't know what to do. Whoa!
She's not laughing. She's not laughing about it. That's somebody that's traumatized by what they did. That's a complete mask. It looks like watching young kids in gangs. That's what it looked like to me. She goes, I can't wash the blood off my hands. She's not laughing. She's laughing because she killed someone, and that's a trauma. It's brutal what they do. Everybody's drafted. That's why they had to do the Buddhist meditation. That girl is traumatized. That laugh is not the laugh of someone that is enjoying themselves. It is not.
Well, she said she's telling the story as she's laughing. It's incongruent that she's telling a story about telling her girlfriend, I can't wash the blood off my hands, as she's laughing about it. Because
you could see what's behind that immediately.
Yeah.
They force people into the IDF. That's not good for anybody there. And I do not take that laugh as a genuine laugh at all. I don't think a dime store psychologist could see that was a mask for the deep pain of killing a boy, because that's a young girl. Anybody could see that unless they don't want to see it. I could see it immediately. 1,000-yard stare. What do you think our troops do when they come home? Not that? A cynical laugh after what they just did for their country? That's what all the soldiers do. They're in pain because it's unnatural to make people do that.
And that's why the suicide rate is so high with the veterans. I saw a guy talking about his troop in Afghanistan. 3 of them got killed in Afghanistan, and 17 committed suicide when they came home.
Yeah, that's suicide voice that girl has, but hopefully the Zionist programming is strong enough to not take your own life because they can't lose population.
Wow.
We think military is you take kids and you make them killers. And then the people that were their enemy that maimed them go on to rule Syria and shake hands with Macron. That's how that works.
That's how that works. It's a sicker world than you can think. The world is sicker than you think. And our country is, they call it late stage capitalism. And what they mean is that the whole country, I've been saying this now for years, that the country isn't a little corrupt. It's 100% corrupt. Meaning that right now, you can't fly into Newark Airport because they don't have enough air traffic controllers. They had to cancel thousands of flights. It's not safe to fly in there right now. Did you know this? Did you hear about this, Kurt? Yeah. So 20% of the air traffic controllers walked off the job. It's not some kind of work stoppage or some union movement, they all, you know what they did? They claimed trauma because a month ago, all their screens went blank. And they, for 90 seconds, and they didn't know where any of the planes were that they were talking to. They didn't know what was going on. And they were all so traumatized by this that they're now, just because there's a clause in their contract saying if you are physically or emotionally traumatized, you can take time off. And so 20% of the air traffic controllers that handle Newark Airport have walked off the job claiming trauma. And why did that happen? Because we're using equipment that is way out of date. In fact, it was a copper wire burned. We're using copper wire, not fiber optics. That's how old this is. Russell Dobular talks about how the switches for the subway in New York City are 100 years old. So this is how all empires end. We're not investing in our own country. You know, like when we had those deals with China, right? So we outsourced all our jobs to China, and China sent us cheap goods. And both sides made a lot of money. China said that. Well, both sides made a lot of money, which we did. A lot of money was made in China. A lot of money was made in the United States. The difference is in China, they put that money into their infrastructure. And now their country looks like it's in the 23rd century. In our country, we don't have high-speed rail. We were using 100-year-old switchers for our subway. We don't have infrastructure. Our roads are crumbling, and we don't even, our air travel is not safe. The second busiest airport in New York City has basically shut down because we didn't. By the way, Doge fired. They didn't fire air traffic controllers, but you know they fired the maintenance crew, the technical. They would fix the machines as they. If there's anything, if you're not going to replace the machines with up-to-date machines for air traffic control, you can't fire. Well, you can. They did. They fired the people who are supposed to keep those old machines running. And so then those old machines broke down, created trauma in 20%. So this is what's called. So when I talk
Jimmy,
about,
don't forget. The people that didn't want to take the jab, that had worked there for years, that knew how to work the old machines
they
in
got
air
fired.
traffic control.
That's right.
They all got fired. Much reason the police suck here now. All the qualified people got run out and replaced
with firemen.
Yep.
Yeah.
With idiots. Like patronage, like mafia jobs, where you put the guy who can't speak English in charge of like water. You know, that's what they did. And then those people doing maintenance, you know, those aren't the new Zoomer employees because they know how to fix things.
So that's what. So I don't know how I get off on this. Because we're so corrupt. Our whole Western world is corrupt.
Yeah, I call it Western civilization. Not. That's what the problem. Western civilization.
Western civilization. We're always supposed. Remember how Sam Harris and Bill Maher would talk about how we're better than them. Our society's better. Our society's crumbling, and it's exactly how Karl Marx predicted. Karl Marx didn't have a prescription on how to fix capitalism. People get that wrong. Karl Marx, all he did was outline and describe what's wrong with capitalism. And he said, capitalism eats itself and it becomes correct. And that's exactly what's happened. So we have like 3 companies that own everything. It's very close to what communism is. It's almost the exact same thing. You have the illusion of choice. You don't have competition anymore. You have 3 companies that own everything. BlackRock, Vanguard, and State Street. They own everything.
I'm sure
right now, you know why we don't have fire trucks in not only California, but in like places like Atlanta and Philadelphia? It's because places like BlackRock and Vanguard have bought up the manufacturing of fire trucks. So now we don't have enough fire trucks. So we're not investing in our own country. That's what I'm talking about, how our own country, it's called end stage capitalism. And this is it. Marx predicted it. It eats itself. And so what you do is you loot. They're looting instead of investing. China is investing. The communists are actually investing in their country. They have health care. They have high-speed rail. They have beautiful cities. Their cops don't even carry guns, do they? You were there, Kurt. Do their cops carry guns in China? I don't think so.
No one respects their cops at all. I mean, theirs is kind of an extreme where their cops are like, literally, we ran away 1 block. And they're not coming to get you.
Yeah, but they have.
You have to worry about the Ministry of something, Interior or something. They got Uzis, those guys, but they don't come unless you really piss them off.
So that's what when I say I'm all for capitalism and I'm all for competition. I'm also for strong unions. And not that doesn't mean unions don't have problems, but you don't throw the baby out with the bathwater.
If you're not throwing capitalism out just because it's
we don't throw capitalism out because it forces us to take
power.
Because it forces us to take emergency mandated experimental medical treatments. That's what capitalism did. And now the capitalists own the government. When they go to have a meeting in Congress, when they have a session in Congress, they're not doing the biddings of students or workers or average citizens or the elderly or the retired or any. They're doing the bidding of the capitalists, the three companies that own everybody. And that's why everything's screwed up. That's why half the country can't afford a $500 emergency. That's why people go bankrupt when they get sick. That's why they had to shut down the second biggest airport in the country, in New York. The second biggest airport in New York. Because we're not investing.
Hey, here's an idea. What if, with precious, sacred, nothing better than it, capitalism, you just do something to keep it from degenerating into a private equity free-for-all.
That's what this is.
Where they take everything.
That's exactly.
Is there any way to stop it, or do you just have to let that happen?
No,
because if you let it happen, that's what Marx said would happen.
That's exactly what Marx said would happen is happening. And we're hollowing out. We've already hollowed out the middle class. We've exported all our jobs, but we didn't take any of that money we made doing that and invested in our country. China did. The communists.
The ones with the flying cars now.
The ones with the flying cars. And I know this is hard.
About freedom?
I know
they're going to let Chinese people drive flying cars. Talk about crazy freedom.
The idea that we're the greatest country in the world. No, we spend the most on our military. We're not the greatest country in the world. Our people go bankrupt when they get sick. Our people go bankrupt when they have to go get educated. There are mountains of debt. People can't afford, Generation Z can't afford houses.
We lose every war.
We've lost every war in my lifetime.
How about the debt that they're building on college students? Right? How much debt are college students?
Yeah, that's what I said.
Forever.
When you go get educated, you're saddled with debt for the rest of your life.
Because the military wants there to be a lot of inspiration to join the military.
That's right.
We covered that. They go, please do not forgive student debt. We need that as an incentive because we're not making our quotas.
That's right.
Go kill yourself in a Ukraine-esque debacle.
Come see us live in Los Angeles, Buffalo, Toledo, Montreal, Ottawa, Glasgow, Manchester, Belfast, Dublin, London, Liverpool, Birmingham. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets.